Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get set for the first race of the playoffs for the NNSCRA Pedrigree Xfinity Series. I almost said the Pizza Hut Xfinity Series, which that's going way back in time on this channel, isn't it? We're getting set here for our 11th race of the season, our first playoff race as 10 drivers last week at Thornton made their way into this season's postseason. 7 drivers got in via victories, 3 drivers got in via points, and all 10 of them come into this race only separated by 10 points as we get ready to go green here at Chatham, which plays host to our first playoff race. Chatham is a 1.3-mile road course slash roval. Some people consider it a roval because it does have a kind of a speedway front straightaway and a sweeping left-hand turn 1, but then the rest of the remaining track is road course section, basically comprised of 2 sections of S corners. But you'll be able to see that as this race goes on. 20 laps scheduled here this evening. Front row, though, comprised of non-playoff drivers. There may be 10 drivers that are battling for the championship, but there's another 30 drivers that want to finish out the season with as many victories as they can. They could care less about the championship now. And you've got J Ciculli lined up on the pole alongside S Ozkan. Both of them are looking for their first wins on the season. Ciculli 22nd in the overall points coming into this one. Ozkan coming into this one 18th in the overall points. And remember, S Ozkan does have a runner-up finish this season when he finished second place to T Dunham back at ISM Raceway. So obviously wanting to finish one position better than that. D Poteet, another driver that's not in the playoffs, 20th in the overall standings coming to this one. He is going to line up in third. Highest starting playoff driver is going to be road course ringer S Gallighan, so certainly a big smile on his face when he found out at road course it was going to be the first playoff race. He's going to line up on the outside of row 2. Also, pointing out this as well, if any of our 10 playoff drivers go to victory lane here tonight, they are automatically locked into the round of 7 in 2 weeks. Everybody else will have to fight each other at Chicagoland next week. Chicagoland was not on the schedule this season for the Duracell Cup Series because last year it was the first playoff race for Duracell Cup and it was a wreckfest. So hoping and praying that with GNS physics that it will not be a wreckfest for these Pedrigree Xfinity Series drivers next week, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Finishing out your top 5 is Corey Williams in the 51. Corey Williams, a former winner this season from Charlotte, but he was not high enough in the point standings with his, I think it was a 12th place finish last week at Thornton to get into the top 20 in points and clinch a playoff position. So obviously he's looking to get his second win of the year here today, and we'll see if he can do that with good starting track position, but none of the other 9 playoff drivers starting up here inside at least the top 5. Gallighan's going to have good starting track position over the rest of his competitors when we go green. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports here at Chatham.
Drivers, start your engines!
Chatham's always had a soft spot in my heart. Back on a game called GT5. Was it GT5 or was it Sports Car GT? Sorry. There were 2 tracks that I drove all the time. One of them was Lime Rock, and the other one was Chatham. And was really excited when they came out with Chatham here for NR 2003. And we'll see what kind of racing it's going to bring about. I've raced this track a couple times online, as you guys have seen in some videos on this channel as well. One of my favorite tracks to drive as far as a road course. And that's coming from a guy who absolutely hates road courses with a burning passion. See them go around the sweeping left-hander. That's why they consider this track a roval with a bit of a speedway section on the front stretch. Now they're going to head down the downhill section, which will bring us into the road course area. There's 2 sets of S's. This right here, this first set of S's that they're going to come to, which is a left-hand, right-hand combination, is the faster section of the S's. Drivers can basically coast their way through here. They don't have to use a whole lot of brake, except on the entry into these S's. Here's the left-hand portion of the S's, and then you come into this section. It's a little bit more technical. You're going to want to run a little bit wide here in the left-hander, and then when you get here to this part, it's the uphill section heading to the start-finish line. That corner back there is going to be the trouble spot for these drivers. It's the tightest corner on the track, and if you mess it up, you're going to either hit the rumble strip and go up in the air, or you're going to go off course. Green flags in the air. The playoffs begin here in the Pedrigree Xfinity Series. And they're going to go 3 wide already for the 3rd position. Corey Williams, D Poteet, S Gallighan way up on the top side, losing a lot of positions as Ciculli pulls away with the top spot. Watch this battle for 3rd between Williams, Poteet, N Romero in the mix as well. 3 wide further back with McCloud, Patrick Zych, and Sean Gallighan. Can they get through here safely? Looks like they will. Eli Bright's going to move up to 6th. Keep an eye on him. He had a great run back at Road America, let's not forget. And so he knows how to get it done at the road courses as he's in 6th. Battle here for 4th. Dylan Poteet all over the back bumper of Nicholas Romero. This left-hand, sweeping left-hand turn 1 is also a very technical part of the track because it looks like it's spacious, but it's really not. And if you overdrive that corner, you're going to go up and get into the wall as Corey Williams was all over the back bumper. S Ozkan for 2nd. Kind of messed up a little bit there. Had to take it a little bit slower than Ozkan did. Ozkan's going to go back to 2nd place. And boy, the 48 of Patrick Zych was all out of shape. He almost got into Kyle Langeland. Almost got into Sean Gallighan. Nice save by the driver of the DC Solar Chevrolet Camaro. There is Langeland. You can tell the playoff drivers, apart from the rest of the drivers that are not battling for the championship, the playoff drivers have the yellow spoiler, that Pedrigree yellow on the rear spoiler of their machines. See it right there, plain and center on the 25 of Langeland, who had that last-minute win last week at Thornton, which was a road course. We're here at another road course, so we'll see what he can do with back-to-back road courses on the schedule. There's Trent Dunham in the 0-1, Sky Commons in the 9. They're into the playoffs as well. Trent last time by was in the 14th position. He's battling here with Arthur Xavier, and this time by still scored in 14th. Commons right now in 16th. J Figadarello, who just barely made his way by 3 points into the top 20 in the standings 1 week after his victory at Bristol Dirt. He's now in the 20th position. Kyle Thomas, who has dominated this season, 2 victories, was up there at the top of the points when the regular season came to a close. Right now he's back in 23rd. Jonathan Zoerlein made it into the playoffs through points. Right now he's in 26th. Ryan Madden, who opened up the season with a victory at Dragonette, right now in 28th. Right behind him, Ashlyn Boyd is in 29th. Drop back further, and these are the drivers that might want to worry about a little bit here. Anthony McCurry's back in the 36th position right now in the 12 car. And it looks like we had an incident with Matthew Logan in the 21, but apparently it didn't bring out a caution. That's the second time in 3 weeks that Matthew Logan's been involved in something, and it didn't bring out a yellow. Back at Bristol Dirt, he had damage very similar looking to this, but it did not bring out a caution flag. Back up front, Joshua Ciculli continues to show the way. Just ran his fastest lap of the race, 38.628. That's a very fast lap time, actually. It's actually faster than the last online race that I ran. I think most of the fast drivers were running in the low 40s. That's almost 2/10 faster here for the AI. I also just realized I didn't have the ticker go up there to the top 10. I thought I had. Corey Williams trying to run down S Ozkan, but meanwhile Ozkan's teammate Nicholas Romero is trying to run down Corey Williams for 3rd place. Good run here for Nicholas Romero. Nice to see him having a good run. I know we're not necessarily supposed to be biased towards drivers, but when you look at the season Nicholas Romero has had, he has just struggled. He's the one of only 3 drivers that has not scored a top 10 this season. The other 2 are Matthew Logan and Skylar Perry. And Romero is dead last in points with an average finish of 31st place. So nice to see him having a good run here today. As James McCloud has now moved his way by Sean Gallighan up to the 7th position. Right now you've only got 2 playoff contenders currently scored inside the top 10. Actually make that only 1 driver up inside the top 10. Well, actually, nope, we do have 2. Langeland right now holding on to that 10th spot, and he's got Emmanuel Hartnett trying to take the position away from him. Hartnett almost getting into the left rear quarter panel there, and he will, looks like, make the move for the spot. Let's see this battle go down into the first section of the S's. And you see Hartnett was able to get back to the throttle sooner. Quickly forges ahead, so Langeland drops outside of the top 10 now. Trent Dunham right behind him in the 12th spot. Going to try and reel him in for 11th. So right now Sean Gallighan sitting in 8th. Very good spot for him as he is the highest running of the playoff contenders. Almost a 2-second lead, a little less than 2 seconds from Ciculli back to S Ozkan. 1.3 miles and 20 laps in length. We're almost about to complete the halfway point. I don't think these drivers are going to have to pit for fuel. I wonder if they're going to have to pit for tires, though, because this is a tire-eating racetrack. There's a couple of really heavy braking zones, and right here, as I mentioned, this left-hander, it's a lot tighter than it looks, and it will eat away your right front. I'll show you right here as he comes down the downhill section where the braking zone is. Right there. You see where that dark gray begins? Right there, you kind of want to either slam the brakes for a brief second or pump the brakes. 2 or 3 pumps of the brakes will actually allow you to be able to make your way down slow enough through the section as well. And then it's all about technicality, getting through those S's. You can coast your way through. You don't have to really use any brake, and you can actually feather the throttle a little bit too. But then when you get to that final left-hander, you basically have to brake, get down to either first or second gear for it to be able to rotate around the turn. And as I said, you gotta hit it just right. You kind of want to run the corner wide on entry and then cut it to the inside to be able to make that turn. Otherwise, you're going to cut it too much and hit the rumble strip, or you're going to not cut it enough and you're going to go off course into the sand. And that sand will literally grab your race car and really slow it down. But see right there, Ciculli, picture perfect through that turn. We got a battle brewing for the 3rd position, it looks like. Well, it looked like it was closer than it was. Actually, might have a battle for 5th in a moment. D Poteet. His rearview mirror is starting to get bigger and bigger with the Hellman Chevrolet Camaro of Eli Bright. Mentioned about the fact Eli had a great run at the first road course of the season, Road America. Trying to remember where he finished that. It was top 5. It was 4th place. He had a great battle that went on with Diego Yepez for pretty much the entirety of that race. And right now he's in the 6th position. Gallighan rides in 7th, and here's a battle here between some playoff contenders. This is for 11th between Trent Dunham and K Langeland. Trent's going to have the advantage coming down into the left-hand turn 1. Looks like Langeland's going to give him the spot, so that way he has a safe entry into the corner. I was a little worried about Trent Dunham, to be honest, to start off this playoffs, because a lot of drivers will tell you want to start off the playoffs with good momentum, and Trent Dunham's had anything but. He had a win at ISM, but then didn't run well at Bristol Dirt. He had a pretty poor performance last week at Thornton. It wasn't really anything exciting. I think it was outside the top 20, but he just barely, by the skin of his teeth, remained in the top 20 in the point standings for his win at ISM to count towards a playoff spot. So it didn't really look like he had good momentum coming into this playoffs, and obviously proving us wrong, as he's right now in that 11th spot. How about all 3 of the Joe Gibbs racing cars? You got S Ozkan in 2nd, Nicholas Romero in 4th, and there's the 3rd car, Emmanuel Hartnett, in 10th place. So Joe Gibbs Racing bringing some pretty doggone good Camrys here tonight. And all 3 of their drivers are currently running up inside of the top 10. Going to drop back a little bit further, see if we can find some more of our playoff contenders. There's Sky Commons, last driver to make it into the playoffs. 3rd overall in the standings, highest without a victory. He's currently in that 17th position. Kyle Thomas back in 21st, and a driver that lost a lot of spots here on this run is J Figadarello. He's now, I think, actually back in 21st. He just lost 20th to Kyle Thomas. So the 2 car is fading very quickly. Ryan Madden, we haven't seen him up at the front. It's pretty hard to pass, it seems like, here. Only a couple of passing zones, really. Turn 1, and then right up here, this left-hander is a little bit of a passing zone as well, but only if the driver in front of you messes up. Not really sure this left-hander here is a passing zone. Well, I guess it is. Nathan Ormond says, hey, I'm on TV. I'm going to show it's a passing zone. And he's going to try and get by Ryan Madden. That is a battle for the 25th position. Ashlyn Boyd's back here in the 6th car. That's another driver I was kind of worried about to start off the playoffs. Headed into Thornton. 56 points to the good, over 20th in the standings, so I knew he was going to make the playoffs, but he didn't really have good finishes before then. He didn't have a great run at Thornton last week, so I was kind of worried about the momentum of that team. As far as momentum, Jonathan Zoerlein had a lot of momentum coming into this race, but he's mired back in 30th position. Anthony McCurry still mired back here in 33rd place as well. So those two are really going to not get some very good points here, as Ciculli just continues to pick them up and put them down as far as these lap times. His fastest lap is a 38.552. That last time by, he ran a 38.642, so no signs of slowing down. And how ironic is it as well about the RCR cars? I mean, you've got the 62 out here in front. Andrew Miller's mired back there mid-pack. Same for J Figadarello. And then you got two of their cars near the very rear of the field with Chase Marks and Matthew Logan. They're running right now in 39th and 40th. I don't know if you heard it, but I heard it. Those tires squealing as the 62 went through turn 1. So those tires could be very well going away on him. S Ozkan continues to run in second. Corey Williams there in third. Romero in fourth. And Poteet currently in fifth. Galligan has now dropped back to the 8th position, but he's the only playoff contender right now inside of the top 10. No, I'm wrong. Trent Dunham has fought his way into 10th place. And I believe Sky Commons back here is making a move. Well, he was trying to get around Anthony Lopez. Further up, Emmanuel Hartnett lost a spot to Trent Dunham. Now he's battling here with Kyle Langeland again. Kyle Keith's going to get into the mix in the number 5. This is a battle, I believe, for the 12th position. Hartnett currently has it. And this race has flown by. No cautions. Green so far. And the white flag was just displayed for Joshua Ciculli in the 62. 22nd in the points coming into this race. Probably thinking, what if this could have been last week? He would have been in the playoffs instead. But as stated, all these drivers that haven't won this season, that are not battling for the championship, now their goal is just to go out there and pick up a victory. It looks like Joshua Ciculli is just one corner away from doing that. Off the final turn and up the uphill front straightaway. Joshua Ciculli dominates here tonight at Chatham. He'll take the checkered flag in the first race of the playoffs. 4.37 seconds. The advantage at the start-finish line between himself and S Ozkan. I don't think that car ever hit a lap less than a 38.6. A lot of other drivers behind him were 38.7s and whatnot. Boy, that car was set up for the long run. And he just continued to pull away every single lap. A dominating performance by Joshua Ciculli. And it is the third straight... No, I'm sorry. It is the third race of 4 road courses we've been to where the pole sitter has won the race. Ashlyn Boyd did it, pole to win at Road America. Kyle Thomas did it, pole to win at Riverside. Didn't dominate the race, but he did start on the pole and win the race. And Joshua Ciculli does it here tonight at Chatham. The only track that we've been to for a road course where the pole sitter has not won the race was last week at Thornton. Standings are official. 2 drivers that are going to gain some maximum points here are going to be Sean Gallighan and Trent Dunham. They finished inside the top 10. 8th for Gallighan, 10th for Dunham. Not too far back. Kyle Langeland 15th and Sky Commons 17th. Kyle Thomas there in 19th place. Figadarello in 21st. But as we look at our top 10, Joshua Ciculli with the win. S Ozkan second, at least to my knowledge, second place finish for him this season. His first came back at ISM. Corey Williams, well, he's getting hot now, but a little too late for him. He's going to get a 3rd place run, though. 4th place for Nicholas Romero. 5th was Dylan Poteet. Eli Bright got good numbers at these road courses, still finished in 6th. 7th for J McCloud. Galligan was mentioned, highest finishing playoff driver in 8th. Patrick Zych brings it home in 9th. He, I believe, now has back-to-back top 10 runs in the last 2 races. And Trent Dunham completed your top 10. We almost had all 3 of the Joe Gibbs Racing cars finish in the top 10, but Hartnett finished in 12th behind Arthur Xavier. Then it was Kyle Keith, Daniel Voyles, and Kyle Langeland, the rest of your top 15. But you look at the rest of the drivers that struggled here today for your playoff contenders outside of the top 20. You've got Ryan Madden finishing 25th, Ashlyn Boyd in 27th, Zoerlein back in 30th, and Anthony McCurry finished way back in the 32nd position, so I'd be a little bit worried about those drivers, especially heading into next week. I'm not sure with the bonus points Ashlyn Boyd accumulated, but I think that the 3 drivers that would be in elimination spots heading into next week at Chicagoland would be Boyd, Zoerlein, and McCrory. We'll have to wait for the official word to see if that is indeed the case. But that's going to do it here for today's race from Chatham. Short one, but definitely some good racing through the field. Maybe if we have this come back on another schedule, we'll actually put more laps on there, because I didn't expect that was going to fly by quite that quickly, going green from start to finish. Joshua Ciculli, though, becomes yet another different winner here on the season. That is RCR's second win on the year. J Figadarello got there first back at Bristol Dirt. So congrats to Ciculli on the victory. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race here from Chatham. If you did, be sure, if you like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finished results from tonight's race. Here are your overall point standings as well as your updated playoff points. As next week, we will whittle the field down from 10 to 7 drivers heading into round 2 of the playoffs next week. First elimination race from Chicagoland. Until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching Production X-Ray, offline racing at its best.